Hi, I'm Kristen Oaks-White.
And I'm Avery Davidson. Thank you for joining us for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture, the only TV show bringing Louisiana farmers and consumers together every week.
According to the LSU Ag Center, there are only 26 farmers in Louisiana growing strawberries on 188 acres.
The fact that that's down from nearly 1,000 acres in 1988 was the focus of a recently published news story in the Baton Rouge Advocate. Despite Louisiana's shrinking strawberry belt, the plants out there are perfect for picking. Mrs. Heather's Strawberry Patch in Albany, Louisiana is a favorite spot for local school field trips. For starters, they actually get to go out into a field, like this one, and pick strawberries. Owner Heather Hughes says the mild winter made for an impressive crop in terms of yield and size, like what this student saw.
4-in-1 strawberry?
Yeah, because I saw a 4-in-1 before, and I saw a 10-in-1.
And at a strawberry patch like Mrs. Heather's, if you see something like a 4-in-1 strawberry, it's just a matter of time before you pick one.
4-in-1!
It's a 4-in-1!
It's a 5!
This lush field speckled with red berries did not look like this following the flood of 2016, which covered much of Livingston Parish with water from the Amite River. Hughes says there was 2 feet of water covering this field. Now, just more than 2 years later, she says things are back to normal, and students are again finding amazing strawberries in this field.
What size the stem on it?
I want that
We'll
one.
get it. You want to take the stem off?
Yes.
Pull it off. Here, I'll hold your strawberries, pull it off.
Yes.
Look at this. Look at this side. Ah, perfect.
While the berries are what bring the children here, there's plenty for them to do other than pick strawberries. A throwback to when the Hughes family ran a dairy here, children can milk wooden cows. There's a full playground where children can go around on the merry-go-round or bounce on a big bubble of air. While the Hughes family remains very involved in agriculture, Mrs. Heather's venture into agritourism more than 20 years ago is what helps keep this farm from running in the red. If you would like to visit Mrs. Heather's Strawberry Patch, it's open through Mother's Day. You can visit our website at twilatv.org and we'll link you over to Mrs. Heather's website. But it's always so cool to see the kids run out there and start picking the berries. And some, you know they probably don't eat strawberries at home, but they're going to try them out there in the field.
It's a great example of agritourism that works, and she's got a ton of visitors every year, and it's a great place.
I was surprised by how long she's been doing this. She's had the pumpkin patch for 26 years, the strawberry patch for more than 20. It's just amazing. And I know that we didn't see much of Mrs. Heather in that story. It helps to actually hit record when you do the interview. It's
gosh.
crazy how that works, but I promise Mrs. Heather will get you on another time.
How long have you been doing this?
20 years. Due to heavy snow and rain up north in the Mississippi and Ohio River valleys, the Mississippi River in Louisiana is very high, reaching near flood stage in New Orleans and Baton Rouge. As the water flows south, it has to pass through Morganza, Louisiana to reach the Gulf of Mexico.
The U.S. Corps of Engineers is watching closely the river levels to see if the Morganza Spillway will need to be opened. TWILA's Taylor Fry takes us to Morganza to show us how opening those gates could affect farmers in the floodway.
Welcome to Four Oaks Farm, where there's always something going on. Right now, it's crawfish season, so Matt Fry is catching and selling crawfish, both retail and wholesale. Matt also happens to be my dad.
Dad, how much crawfish do you normally sell at this time of the year?
Oh, a day?
Yeah.
100%.
In my opinion, crawfish season is the best season because at this time of the year, everyone comes together to ensure crawfish sales go smoothly, and new people visit the farm almost daily. However, this year, all of that could change due to the high water in the Mississippi River.
The trigger point for opening Morganza is 57 feet on the gauge, staff gauge here at the structure, and also 1.5 million cubic feet per second forecasted on a river forecast. That would trigger the general and the colonel to make the decision of operating Morganza.
The Morganza Spillway's main purpose is to protect Baton Rouge from flooding, but these gates also hold back water from thousands of acres of farmland.
We're at a critical stage right now and it's on the rise, and we have more rain expected to fall in that area what goes into the Mississippi River.
And while it's unfortunate the spillway could be flooded this year, farmers who do farm in the floodway know the risk. They also know the structure exists for very good reason.
Without this structure, and you have an event like 2011, you could have flooding in Baton Rouge or any major cities south of Baton Rouge.
This is the Morganza Spillway, and what you can see behind me is a very small portion of the Morganza floodway. The spillway begins north of me, starting at the Morganza floodgates, and it flows south all the way to Morgan City.
If you could see those 2 water gauges behind me.
They've only had to use those 2 times in all of history, once in 1973 and once in 2011, because those were the only 2 years that they've had to open those gates.
And while farmers in Morganza are on their toes watching the river, farmers north of us in Black Hawk and Vidalia are already underwater.
Anytime the river is at this level, it's backed up into some fields that, not just if they open the gates, that's a spillway, but it's gonna flood that too.
In recent years, high water has not been uncommon.
Yeah, we've come close to this trigger point since 2011. We came here 3 out of the last 5 years, and that's listed a little bit more frequently than what we've seen in the past.
They think it's due to an unusual amount of sediment buildup on the bottom of the river.
It's causing a problem that they can't get as much flow down the rivers as what we used to.
Beauvais says the real reason for the sediment buildup is not known, but the Corps of Engineers is conducting a study on it.
If this slug of sediment moves through the system and goes away, you could start seeing lower stages at a later date. So only time will tell. Nobody knows how long this will stay here and all, but they are looking at it, and we just monitor it closely, and you could have more frequent chances of seeing these stages more, plus and maybe more frequent operations of the Morganza control structure.
While it may be a close call this year, Beauvais expects the spillway gates to remain closed.
We're supposed to crest here at Morganza at approximately elevation 59, and the flow will only be 1,450,000 cubic feet per second, and that would not be enough to trigger the operation of Morganza.
Until then, Four Oaks will carry on and hope for the best. It's all part of the risk of farming in the Morganza Spillway. In Morganza, I'm Taylor Fry for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture.
Beauvais says the Corps of Engineers study is looking at several Louisiana rivers in addition to the Morganza control structure. They're focusing their efforts on how to better prepare for reoccurring high waters and how they can better utilize existing structures. For the 3rd consecutive year, the Louisiana Grazing Lands Conservation Initiative is hosting a bus tour.
It will be a 3-day trip departing from Alexandria, Louisiana, traveling through Texas and ultimately ending up at the Noble Research Foundation in Ardmore, Oklahoma. Louisiana GLCI Coordinator Taylor Fry says the bus tour will provide Louisiana farmers and ranchers the opportunity to learn about other successful grazing operations across the state and across the nation.
The Noble Foundation has several farms and ranches that they conduct research on, and they're able to apply the research, and GLCI is going to be visiting several of those ranches along with 4 other private ranches that the Noble Foundation does outreach with.
The bus will leave Alexandria on April 23rd and return on the 25th. It is an affordable trip as well, especially when you consider the tickets start at $175. That includes transportation, most of your meals, and hotel costs. For a link to register, head over to our website at twilatv.org. And the Noble Foundation really is a neat place. I've been there several times since 2009. The research they do, it's now things that are becoming common practice here in Louisiana.
It looks to be pretty neat.
We talk often here on the show about the importance of safety on farms. Sadly, we've seen the worst case scenario play out on farms right here in Louisiana in recent years.
That's why for years the Louisiana and Mississippi Farm Bureaus have teamed up to bring grain bin safety workshops to Louisiana farms to train farmers and first responders for the rare event of a grain bin entrapment.
Today we're at Angelina Grain, Oak River Farms in Monterey, Louisiana, in this area, and We were here a couple years ago. We were asked to come back again to do another grain bin rescue and training program for them. Turnout is great. This is the third one this week, and all of them have been somewhere 75 to 85 people attending. Probably more firefighters than local farmers, but really a great turnout this week.
Getting stuck in a grain bin is a very high-risk, low-frequency event, something that rarely happens. When you get involved in a high-risk, low-frequency event, things can go bad very quickly. And it's very important that a firefighter understand what needs to be done to save someone, because if the wrong things are done, not only can the person that's trapped die, but it can also injure or kill the rescuers as well.
The people that are first on the scene, we want them to know 1, 2, 3. What's the quickest, safest, most effective way to get that victim out of that grain bin? There's been probably 3 to 4 over the last several years that have happened in Louisiana. 1 was a successful rescue, 2 or 3 were fatalities, so just a recovery. So hopefully with the educational component of prevention is a big part of this training program, and then the rescue training itself for the firefighters, it works together, and we're hoping to reduce that incidence of death with grain bin accidents.
Miley says the #1 thing to remember is to always have a friend or coworker with you when entering a grain bin. This applies to farmers in the day-to-day maintenance of the bins, as well as emergency responders in a rescue scenario. There is power in numbers when entering a grain bin. To see more stories from similar workshops, head over to our website at twilatv.org.
Still to come on TWILA, we have your crawfish prices ready to make your mouth water for your favorite crustacean.
But first, we'll learn how to make the fanciest grilled cheese ever on Field to Feast. Stay with us.
It's time to cook up more local Louisiana ingredients. This week, TWILA's Jennifer Finley heads to Mushroom Maggie's farm in St. Francisville to gather, guess what? Some beautiful mushrooms for this week's dish.
Then Jennifer and executive chef Tori McPhail of Commander's Palace are going to make a luxurious grilled cheese sandwich. I wonder if they brought any for us to try.
I didn't get any.
Welcome to Field to Feast, where we profile Louisiana's local ingredients. This morning we're in the beautiful St. Francisville, and we're going to learn about mushrooms at Mushroom Maggie's farm. After that, my good friend, executive chef Tori McPhail of Commander's Palace is going to make us some lunch. Let's go.
Field to Feast with Jennifer Finley is brought to you by the Louisiana Crawfish Promotion and Research Board, Louisiana Crawfish, ask before you eat, and by the Louisiana Beef Industry Council. Beef, it's what's for dinner.
We're about to walk into the fruiting room.
The fruiting room.
Yes, ma'am.
How exciting.
What?
Oh my gosh, this is so cool.
Awesome! Well, in here, this is where the mushrooms fruit. The mushrooms take in oxygen and they expel CO2. So we have to get rid of the CO2 so the mushrooms can breathe, basically.
How did you know how to do this?
The internet. I'm a Facebook mycologist.
Wow. And how many different types of mushrooms are here?
We are growing 9 varieties currently.
9.
What are they?
We have a few varieties of oyster mushrooms, Italians, and these are grays. We also do blue oysters, piopinos, chestnuts, maitake, lion's mane, king trumpet, and
I love
shiitake.
those too. And shiitake.
I already have ideas in my head on what I want to do with this.
This is the coolest
cool.
thing.
They're really
ever.
cool. Then these are our most popular at the market, the chestnuts. They just look so pretty and people love them, you know. The shiitakes are the only thing that grows on a different substrate. The shiitakes grow on a mixture of sawdust and rice bran. We use all agricultural waste products like the sawdust from sawmills, rice bran, which doesn't get used from the rice, and but everything else grows on soybean hulls and sawdust. It's very sciencey, you know.
But fun. I mean, this just looks like such a passion for you.
It is. My wife and I just love it. You know, we do. So the lion's mane, which are behind you, these are actually a medicinal mushroom. They're very, very healthy for you. They are the only natural substance that regrows myelin in the brain, so they help with neurological disorders like multiple sclerosis, dementia, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's. Studies have shown they help fight cancer in mice. They're just overall the healthiest, most medicinal mushroom we grow. We also grow king trumpets, which are these right here. Those are my favorite. They're very meaty. They're high in protein. It's like biting into a steak almost. The stem is actually the best part on those, you know?
On the trumpet mushrooms.
On the trumpet mushrooms. The cap's really good too, but actually the Chinese grow them without any caps just because they love the stem so much.
I mean, do you ever sleep or do you just read about mushrooms?
I know, and I have a 6-month-old baby, so I never sleep at all.
Well, it's a good thing you have a
Might as well
hobby.
be up reading, you know?
Exactly. So next we have Italian oysters. They have a more tender stem. The oysters in general have a mild flavor. Basically, they'll take in the flavor of whatever you cook with them.
This looks like the ocean to me. Which one is this one?
Those are the gray oysters. Mushrooms grow very, very fast. So these might be ready to pick in a day and a half.
From here to go all through these stages, a couple days.
Correct.
Golly.
Correct. We have to pick sometimes 4 times a day.
4 times a day? Are you serious?
Just because they
That's one heck of a
develop
farm.
so fast. Right, I know, it's intense.
Okay, so next up we have the chestnuts.
The chestnuts. These are one of our most popular mushrooms. They have a very nutty flavor. You can eat the stem and the cap. They're also just really beautiful. At the market, they attract people just to come to the booth. People say that they're too pretty to eat.
They look like they're pre-toasted.
They're amazing. It looks
Definitely.
fantastic.
These are called piopinos.
I feel like you're giving me a bouquet.
Yeah, you want to hold it?
They look a little bit hardier. Does that make sense?
Yes, they hold up a little bit better. These kind of, the shelf life isn't as long as these, but they taste really nutty. The stem is a little bit more tender as well.
Well, I'm just gonna take
that home, huh?
Actually, what we are gonna do is Tori is going to cook up some delicious dishes for lunch with these mushrooms, and then we're gonna share them with you.
Sounds fantastic.
All right.
Awesome, let's get going. I'm gonna take these with me.
Cool.
Tori and I just left the fruiting room where we got all of these fantastic mushrooms, and now we're going to make a luxurious grilled cheese.
Now, who doesn't love a grilled cheese sandwich?
I love a grilled cheese sandwich.
All right, so we saw 9 varieties of fresh mushrooms today. We're gonna do a cool grilled cheese sandwich featuring some fresh pumpernickel, also some rye bread. We're gonna put the whole thing together and then top that with cognac flambéed mushrooms as a nice little garnish to showcase the bounty of this amazing farm.
I'm gonna try and test myself from what we learned in the fruiting room. These are the pios. This is the lion's mane. This is the one of the oyster mushrooms, the chestnuts. These are the oysters that I think look like velvet. And then these are the large trumpet mushrooms. All of this looks like under the sea.
It looks like a coral reef on the inside, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. So I think that we should start singing The Little Mermaid.
Do you know the words to The Little Mermaid?
Uh-huh. Under the sea, darling, it's better down where it's wetter. Take it from me.
I am impressed you know that.
All right, what are you working on over there?
I've got some Italian mozzarella. I've got some smoked mozzarella. There's some beautiful Asiago cheese. I'm just gonna grate right on top.
I have a hard time wanting to even cut this one.
Got some fresh black truffles in here.
Is that what that is?
That's exactly it. And a little bit more.
Those are really good.
Good. They're truffles, they're supposed to be.
That's one of my favorite things about when we go out to some of these local farms is you eat with your eyes first.
Absolutely right.
And all of these fresh, local Louisiana ingredients, to me, look so delicious.
Yeah.
The fact that they taste great is just lagna. Did you learn a lot in there?
I did.
What was your favorite thing?
I think the lion's mane is amazing mushroom and all the healthy properties of that I think is absolutely fascinating. He's growing cool shiitake mushrooms in there also, which are one of the 13 ingredients that are very high in glutamate. Right? Everybody these days, you kind of understand umami, that craveability type of thing, and the mushrooms grown on this farm really exemplify the whole idea.
Butter, shallots, garlic,
little bit of salt and black pepper.
Salt and black pepper.
We're gonna flambe this with some Hennessy cognac, and we'll add just a little bit of mushroom demi-glace, all vegetarian, but you can save all the stems, all the parts that don't make the dish, cook all that down together with a little bit of roasted tomato, a little bit of red wine, and it makes it nice and thick, which is gonna be perfect for a dish just like this.
Okay, tell me when.
Yeah, you're good. Okay, good. And flambe. There we go. We're gonna add just a tiniest little bit more butter. You wanna help me stir that in?
This is where it starts getting dangerous. A tiny bit.
Yeah.
Just a tiny bit more butter.
But it's vegetarian, it's fine.
What is that?
White truffle oil. We have black truffles inside of our sandwich. Fantastic. Gorgeous, huh?
What are you gonna have?
Well, I guess I'm gonna have the grilled cheese then. So we've got a luxurious grilled cheese sandwich, half rye, half pumpernickel. We have 4 different types of melty mozzarella, smoked mozzarella, a little bit of Asiago and Parmesan cheese with several varieties of mushrooms grown right here on Mushroom Maggie's farm in St. Francisville.
Y'all come on in. Cyrus and Maggie, grilled cheese, mushrooms. We've got some
for
pork.
you.
Thank you.
I'm not
Check
sure
it
if
out.
y'all ever tried mushrooms from
No,
Mushroom Maggie's farm.
From the farm.
Oh my God, it's so
Can
good.
we keep you on the farm?
It's great. It's like connecting the dots for me. You know, coming to the farm, finding out how it's grown, and having the opportunity to serve this in amazing restaurants like ours is pretty thrilling. So thank you for everything you do.
Thank you.
This works. This is why the whole thing works.
That's it.
Sure.
So, do we get to come back?
Without a doubt, as long as you bring all this.
Awesome.
You got a deal.
Thank y'all for joining us, and we'll see you next time on Field to Feast for some more local Louisiana ingredients. Awesome. I'm just going to keep digging in, and y'all do the same.
Field to Feast with Jennifer Finley was brought to you by the Louisiana Crawfish Promotion and Research Board, Louisiana Crawfish, Ask Before You Eat, and by the Louisiana Beef Industry Council. Beef, it's what's for dinner.
Mushroom Maggie's Farm sells their mushrooms every Saturday at the Red Stick Farmers Market in downtown Baton Rouge. If you're in the area, it's definitely worth heading downtown for some of those mushrooms and all the other local Louisiana ingredients the Red Stick Farmers Market has to offer.
Things are really heating up in crawfish, and we're not just talking about the boiling pots. We're getting into the heart of the season. Usually it's a little bit warmer this time of March. It was, 39 degrees this morning? So the crawfish haven't been quite as abundant, but they are selling quite a lot. You can really see the price difference right now between live and boiled crawfish, as finding commercial-sized ones is a little more difficult.
We've been showing you a lot from the Morganza New Roads area where the waters are still high, but the crawfish are definitely biting. For live crawfish, Rose Off the Hook is selling them for $3.50 per pound. Boiled crawfish there are going for about $4.89 a pound.
It is March, but Ben Christmas Crawfish in Ruston is giving us the gift of live crawfish for $3.39 a pound. Boiled are right at $5 a pound.
Over in Crowley, S&S crawfish have them for $3.25 a pound live, while boiled are about $5.52 a pound. Again, be sure to use that crawfish app to find the best deals this weekend. We want to thank our partners at Louisiana Crawfish Promotion and Research Board, who remind us to ask before you eat.
Always ask before you eat.
Well, that does it for this edition of TWILA. Join us next week when we'll take you to Morehouse Parish, where farmers are finally getting their planters into the field.
Until then, you can watch all of our stories online at twilatv.org. Also, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram.
For all of us here at TWILA, thanks for joining us. We hope to see you again right here next week. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like down below. That really helps us out. Also, please subscribe to our channel to stay up to date on all things Louisiana agriculture that we cover here at TWILA. Also, check out this video right here, and we'll see you on to the next one. Thanks.